Hello! So, some of you told us and gave us feedback that some of the episodes that I'm loading are a bit too long. Guess what? We've heard you and we understand you. Because you know what? There is so much amazing stuff and stories that I get to hear with my happy humans. I want to share everything with you. But yes, in that process, the episode becomes a bit much. So what we're going to do from now is divide that entire episode into smaller bite-sized chunks so that you don't miss out on any amazing stuff, and at the same time we keep it short and sweet. Watch out for the next episode in a series. Namaste, greetings and karibu to another beautiful episode of Humans and Happiness, a show where we bring you some amazing and motivating stories of happy humans who have made happiness as a habit and a choice for their life. These are simple people, normal people like you and me. However, they have discovered some sort of purpose in their life and through their actions are doing their bit to make the world around them a more positive and a pleasant environment. From a simple taxi driver in Wagga who has made it his mission to drop no customer unhappy, to a medical clown all the way in Delhi who's helping patients heal faster by making them laugh. On this show, you will discover some happy humans and witness some amazing stories. So, sit back, enjoy the show, and think about how you can unlock and bring out the happy human in you. You can do this right away by doing one act of kindness. Help me in my mission to spread happy vibes around and share this episode with one person who you think will see value in this episode and actually enjoy it. So, enjoy the show. Greetings, Jambo, Habari, and Karibu to Humans and because I'm connecting to my motherland all the way in Kenya, the guests today is all the way from Kenya. I think I would like to call this episode and label it Hakuna Matata. And you can see I'm donning my Proudly Kenyan t-shirt, and I always say I identify myself as a Kenyan first before anything else. My heart still remains there, my family still stays there, and hence I am really happy to bring you our guest today all the way from Nairobi, Rwanda in Kenya. Madhvi, a hearty karibu to our show.
Thank you so much. I'm very privileged to be here.
That is wonderful. So, leading you straight into it, let me introduce you to five amazing people, starting off with a loving mother of two and a wife, amazing wife. That's number one. Number two, a dance choreographer, a yoga and a meditation instructor. That's story number two. Story number three, a pharmacist, a qualified pharmacist by profession with years of experience, both in the UK as well as Kenya, and including a business and entrepreneur of pharmacies once upon a time. So that's person number three. The fourth one, a teacher by heart, and the fifth one, the most important person we're about to meet today, is an active humanitarian, Lady Bountiful, the way I like to call it, and an advocate for women, health, and education. Ladies and gentlemen, five most amazing stories. Guess what? All led by one amazing person right in front of you, Madhvi Dalal. And that is what our episode is all about. Understanding the five lives that she leads and how does she manage them into one and still manage to keep herself happy through it. So
that's a bit much. Thank you.
So Madhvi, imagine yourself that there is a movie that is being made out of this amazing life that you lead. What would you want the starting scene to be like? So yeah, and what do you think would be the climax of this amazing dramatic movie? And more importantly, how would you like it to end?
Wow. So, the movie basically has to have so many characters who bring in the support. Like you said, all these hats I wear, I can't do anything just by myself, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm guessing this whole journey, maybe how it began was through my dance career,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I learned my most character building traits. For example, discipline, which is key.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Organizational skills, tolerance, real perseverance. So that's where it probably would begin. I lived away from my parents, so also the whole independence. And then when time went by, or what the whole star would be. I mean, currently speaking, PadMad is what I focus on, which is the star part of my life. And how it would end, frankly, I'm not really sure there's going to be, I'm not going to maybe say that this is what I achieve and that's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a feeling that different things come into different people's lives at different times, so you don't know what's around the corner. Yeah.
Right. But you mentioned that you learned discipline and all of these amazing values from the time you were a dancer. Uh, does a form of art really allow you to instill strict values or rigid values in ourselves? Is that possible?
So I think more than the form of art, it was my guru, the teacher who kind of portrayed it. She really had the traditional outlook on classical Indian dancing, and so it was not just the art form; it was mainly the lifestyle. So, for example, when I had to do my graduation, I lived with her. I learned the language. I had the food. I learned about the religion, etc., etc. So basically, I lived that rather than just the art form. It became kind of integrated into everything that I was doing. So yes, I really feel that once you get into that rigor, so failure is one big thing that you accept as you
Mm-hmm.
learn, and the fact that your eyes are always set on the goal. So all these things, the teacher is the one, in my opinion, compared to the art form. Yeah.
And you talked about failure and how important failure was as a part of your life. Have you failed often in your life, and how have you overcome? And since we're on the topic, double clicking on failure a bit, because our world today, as we know it, failure is a big reason for or the cause of anxiety around us. Even if not failure itself, but the fear of is
Exactly.
huge around us. It's everyone's kind of constantly in that state, in that fear of failure. What would be your advice on how can we look at failure differently to help overcome?
So I'll give you a very personal experience about my older daughter. She really finds it very, very difficult to get things wrong.
Right.
She'd rather not try to get things wrong because of the intense fear of failure. And so, what my advice to her constantly is about growth mindset. So, you cannot grow unless you make the mistake and you correct that mistake. So, really, I think it's causing maybe more in this generation. I'm not really sure, but for me, personal experience, yes, that fear of failure can really, really bring somebody down, can really, anxiety can overtake many other emotions. And it's quite unhealthy because that could be fear of failure for anything, as simple as playing a game or
Mm-hmm.
doing some math.
Absolutely. And I think the way I like the biggest or the most simplest anecdote that I like to refer to when I talk about failure is look at the concept of a trampoline, that until you don't go low, there's no ways you can go high. Wonderful. So let's now double click and zoom into the five stories that we introduced, or the five hats that you wear. Talk to us about briefly about these five stories, or how did each of them come about, and like how do you create a balance between these five lives?
Okay, so I'll start with what happened first in my life was probably dance. And so I was a student then, so I could dedicate a lot of time aside of my homework, etc., to what I was really passionate about. And that didn't come easily, but it was really something that I wanted to do. But when I moved to Nairobi, I was, we looked up some dance teachers, and I went to one. And then she told me, okay, show me what you can do. And I started dancing on a carpet. So she got very frustrated, and she said, you know what, I don't think you're ready to come to my class yet. So it was almost a rejection. And then I got completely dissuaded to go, and I didn't really want to go. And then I went back to see if that teacher would take me back. And she did. And in fact, it was phenomenal because she made me her daughter. Her other daughter was my age, so we used to share a room together. And she really brought me into her whole life then.
Wow.
When I choreograph, it is tough, it's tedious. When I put on shows about different things, it's a lot of hard work. But it all comes from the fact that I really like to do it. It makes me more creative. It floats my boat. Then came pharmacy. I was an Indian girl brought up in Kenya, so basically between economics, or rather accounting, pharmacy, and dentistry, just had to choose one, which I did. Luckily, I was in Cardiff, really a great city, and so many things happened there. And pharmacy wasn't the most interesting, but I did well, and I carried to work. It was good. We had a pharmacy, retail and wholesale, which did very well. We won many awards, and the community was basically our family, without much disruption in my own career. Whilst my first one was still just about a year, overnight I decided to do a yoga course in London, so I had to leave Chirav and in Wales, while I just went and did my thing. And I think that was kind of, it was more for personal reasons, more than the actual fact that I wanted to teach. It was really not on my agenda. It was just a personal thing that I thought that yoga would really help me balance my mind. Living in the UK, things get very hectic. You just get sucked into the career, into the chores, into, the damp weather. So I decided to go into deeper yoga practice. And by sheer luck, the teacher who was teaching me was phenomenal. He was really, really, really well read. He was exactly the opposite of what I had imagined the teacher would be. I thought he'd be like a yogi with a beard and, clothes. But he was an Englishman who was gay, who was really young, and just a fun guy. So that really helped me. And by default, I started teaching, which brought me more insight into what I was and how I was, changing people's lives. And not in a big way, but I realized that bringing yoga to other people was helping each one in different ways.
So we've gone through your yoga, and we've gone through the yoga and the dance. We've gone through the pharmacist. We've gone through the mother, and then came about. Yes, for the benefit of our viewers, could you give us a brief or a blurb or a bite on what PadMad Kenya is, and what does it do today?